Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy, my channel's Finding Value. We're going to do our daily technical analysis update of gold and silver. I do this every day. A lot of people like seeing the progress, learning how to read charts. I am not a day trader. I don't trade. I don't even swing trade. All I do is I try to time my buys as best I can. Doesn't mean I'll be perfect. I buy the undervalued assets. How I value that is gold to money supply or monetary base, gold to stocks. All these are incredibly cheap. I mean, they haven't been this cheap ever. And what's going to happen is the conditions change, the market conditions, and they become favorable where gold starts to account for these things and money starts to rotate. And during an expansionary phase of real estate where it's inflationary is when that accounting occurs. The accounting is coming. I can't tell you the exact timing. I never claim to tell anyone the exact timing. So I don't want to hear people in the comments section that I said something looked good, but it went down a little bit further than what we thought. But overall, it will come, and it's going to be massive. So what I do is I cost average in, I dollar cost average in. When they're down, I buy a little bit. When it comes down again, I buy again. I'm not trying to necessarily make a portfolio that is going to have gains in 6 weeks. I am buying these for years to make massive moves. So I'm accumulating over time. When things pull all the way back, they bottom, and then they start to come back up, I fire some off. I buy some physical platinum. I buy some physical silver. I buy a royalty company or two. That's how I trade, or I should say invest. It's not really trading, it's investing. So I am a guy that accumulates assets and holds them because I know what's coming. This has to come. It's got to. It could be delayed. I don't think it's possible where it doesn't come at all. I'll put it that way. It can be delayed, but I don't think it can be completely stopped. This is structural, it's demographic driven, and it's going to be inflationary, in my opinion. This is going to probably be 5 to 15 years in length. I can't tell you the exact timing. It's usually around 8 or 9 years, but it could be longer, could be shorter. Depends on a bunch of things. So let's dive in here. I'll give you my opinion on gold and silver and the technicals. It's just my financial opinion. So we're going over the dollar here first. We're going to do dollar, gold, 10-year yield, and then we're going to go into ETFs and then some individual companies and some royalties. Dollar up top, dollar weaker, but we still had gold sell off a little bit. Looks like it was ready to ramp here, and then it sold off as the dollar came up, and it never really recovered from that point. I do think gold will have its day in the sun. It's just not yet. Just not yet. The dollar, that didn't work. So we broke through this guy here. We've got downward momentum, and we were down again today a little bit because it doesn't update for the most recent day. Let's see if this thing continues lower. It's going to be fuel for commodities. The overall commodity complex, the CRB index, has been doing very well. It's outperforming against stocks. If we see stocks get a little bit strong here, which we might see everything kind of rally here. Stocks, bonds, and it may not be a great environment for gold at the moment yet. Looking at the TNX, the 10-year, we bounced up a little bit, 2.11. We're still above this downtrend line. I still think higher rates eventually, much higher rates. Are we there yet? The expansionary phase isn't very large, and we're still building momentum. So we're early in the expansionary phase, and the inflation will come. There might be a little bit of gap between the stimulus money and the expansionary phase money that's coming. So there might be a gap in between it. Here's gold. Doesn't look bad, the chart. It's not horrible. Looking at the candlestick pattern, we still have this nice big wick at the bottom coming up, finishing strong. We had a down day today. Let's see where it takes us tomorrow. Doesn't look horrible. Silver's actually looking very good. We've got wicks at the bottom. We've got a nice little small down day there. I'm going to throw in the trend line. You guys have seen me do this before. And there's your trend line. And we're staying above the trend line. I think at any point, I don't know what's going to trigger this. This looks like it wants to go higher to me. We have a bullish engulfing pattern here, which means the opening and closing price engulfs the one before it. It's a statistical probability of moving higher. We sold back off to do a retest. It's not breaking below the trend. There's no sellers, at least at the moment. I'd like to see this move higher at any second here. Platinum's still coming under some pressure here. We have a wick at the bottom. Again, I mean, it's up to you guys. This is weakness. If I see strength to turn up, I would be a buyer of physical platinum, but it's got to be strength. And I'd even buy it on a huge wick on the bottom here if it dips down and comes back up. Looking at it from this perspective, and I'm trying to gain a perspective here, and it does not look pretty, I can tell you that. But what I'm looking for is a potential move down to this 900 area. It could come down, or even the upper 800s. There's that support line. So maybe it wants to come down here and kiss this thing. Or maybe it's going to do some grinding on it. Yeah, that's it. So again, since we had weakness today, I'm still holding. There's another thing that we can look here. I'm just going to throw it in. And what I'm seeing, I'm just trying to see. So we've got this guy coming here. And then do we have it's not quite a ascending. We're just in this downward channel, going to run right into this support line here. It's still running strong lower, guys. So just hold on. GDX, looking at this chart, it doesn't look too bad. It opened up down, but closed with the momentum going back up. That doesn't look bad. SILJ doesn't look bad from a candlestick perspective here. Again, we came up, pulled back, small down days, big buying pressure, bigger buying pressure. It doesn't look too bad if gold were to follow along. We did break this downtrend line too. So everything looks good. And Endeavor Silver looks really good. We get the wick at the bottom, nice big hammer pattern, bullish engulfing, 2 small down days next to it. Usually you get an up day after this. Usually. And Mag Silver's not looking too bad. Nice big bullish engulfing pattern here. There's another one here. You kind of play with this line a few times and then you pop higher. We've got this downtrend line we're trying to break right now. I'll throw it in there for everybody just so you guys can see it. There, well, looks like we already broke it. It's actually right there. So that looks good. Wheaton Precious Metals, this would be one I like. Right here, it looks pretty good. You know, do some small cost averaging in. It could, I mean, it maybe could come back a little more, but small down days usually means we could go higher. EMX royalty, we'll try to break in this downtrend line here, but it doesn't look too bad. Looks like support's holding down there. And then Franco-Nevada, another one that I think might do all right. Moving on higher, I think. And I mean, that's what I threw together. I don't have too many mining companies themselves, but silver looks good. I mean, a lot of the silver companies look good. That would be a spot that I would look at and see what happens. I like the royalty companies. Some of these royalty companies have a lot of copper in it. Copper looks pretty strong right now. I like them. Like Franco-Nevada. I don't know what Wheaton Precious Metals necessarily has any copper. EMX royalty does. And that's why I showed those two, because there's good overlap with copper. And copper is, I think, going to strengthen here. You're probably going to see the copper to gold ratio go up, which means that yields are probably going to go up. So that's kind of what I'm seeing here. Because the copper to gold ratio goes up first, and we saw copper pretty strong today, and gold was a little bit weak. So I think money's going to start flowing into copper. And some of these precious metals, royalty companies, they also have copper in them. So those would be, I think, good bets. That's my take on it. If you guys like this content, give me a thumbs up. Appreciate you guys listening. This is Finding Value.